Cool, let's start here on the daily. So for our first pair we have EU, right? We have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. What's the daily showing us? So if I analyze yesterday, we closed out as this long-legged bullish candle, right? Bullish doji. The long leg might insinuate a rejection of these lows, right? A sweeping candle, okay? Low test rejection. So swept below previous daily low, and ultimately after having such a bearish day, bearish pressure, closed out bullish above its open price. Looking at this picture here as a whole, say over the last 5 days and whatnot, you can see this is sort of forming support. At least on the daily, it looks like we found support, right? We was consistently making down candles and lower lows on the weeks before and days before. However, end of last week into this week, you can see we're sort of staying around. We're staying around this area here, okay, on the daily chart, and it's reflected also on DXY. So the last 2 days on DXY, you can see they're both like high test, small body doji candles, indecisive, okay, but we swept buy side liquidity very obviously yesterday. We still have our SMC divergence as well intact for possible weak DXY from this high to this lower high. So the daily is giving a possible picture now. We're finding support. We've taken sell side liquidity, right? We're closing with up candles. Maybe we're bullish. Okay, it may not be today, but it could be showing that picture that, especially once all this news comes out, we may just start to make a bullish direction. But that's the picture I'm getting. That's what it looks like here. So far today, we've taken a previous daily low, sell side liquidity on DXY, right, which has given us a bullish DXY so far this morning and a bearish move on EU. EU may have just missed and created equal highs here at the previous daily high. So let's go down to the 4 hour, see what that shows. Right, so here on the 4 hour, I'll tell you how I interpret this. Of course, I see this as my external bearish leg. All of this is internal price action to that, right? So we came up, we took some buy side liquidity, made that move down, came back up. This could have been a weak high, of course, but this 4 hour POY held as resistance. Okay, so we eventually made another move down. So internally, we still have a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So what that's saying to me is the internal price action is still heading lower. We'll see this more on the hourly, of course, but even on the 4 hour, you can see it's reflecting that we may still be heading for this low here as a weak low for this external leg, because internally we're still breaking down. Now we have pulled back again to the premium. We're right at the highs here. As I said, I think we've made equal highs, right? We're yet to reject this area. We may need the buy side liquidity sweep to do it. However, DXY has already swept that previous daily low, which may continue that bullish trend here on DXY. Now on DXY, this candle here closed out as a proper sweeping candle. Of course, it didn't close above making that high. So that is possibly an indication of lower prices. So again, we'll see on the 1 hour, it may be a clearer higher high, but that's a good sign of buy side liquidity taken there. Okay, we're yet to make lower lows though. So the structure to me is still saying bullish, right, for the time being. Okay, and this structure is still saying bearish to me for the time being as well. Now this candle isn't live, so it may actually be green. So let's go down to the 1 hour, see what that looks like for us. Also, before I forget and we move on, one last confluence that we may actually head bullish, that it may have just been for this leg here. We had our SMC divergence, right? So DXY, we have this high to a high. Okay, on the hourly, it's a bit more of a clearer high. Whereas this low to this higher low, showing strength on EU. So that strength may have played out already overnight, just to pull back to this premium here, right? From this high to this low on the hourly discount premium. We're up here in this POY. We didn't take the previous daily high. We've took some internal buy side liquidity that we'll see clearer on, say, the M15. So going back into this price action again, we've got this high to a low, lower high to a lower low, and we've pulled back to this high again now. Possibly if we reject this area or take the buy side liquidity, we're going towards another lower low. So sell side liquidity sponsorship here on DXY. Some internal buy side liquidity here, but we're in a premium, we're in a discount of these legs here. We may continue higher with our structure of high, low, high to continue there. We have a bit of a mixed bag of confluences, right? So we may be seeing early signs of that trend shifting, but at the moment our structure is still telling me bearish. Okay, so I'll be looking out for those. So let's go down to the M15. Right, so here on the M15 this morning, if we are going to go bearish, what I am looking for is that structure to shift. Okay, we obviously took that buy side liquidity here above Asia, had a temporary bearish move. We're not so bearish at the moment, right? We're yet to break this M15 structural low here. We are into its order block there, and we may respect it, but that may be to come up and take these equal highs here for the buy side liquidity for that real move. So we'll draw that in a second. Again, like I showed, we have SMC liquidity from this low to this high low as well, where we have this high to this high high. All right, just a small internal lower time frame SMC divergence. We'll see if that carries through or not. So what I'll keep my eye out for is for this buy side liquidity. If we don't break down from here or anything, I don't see any entry at the moment, so I'll probably wait for something like this, take the buy side liquidity, close out as a nice sweeping candle, taking it from previous daily high and that current London high. Okay, break down below this low here, pull back towards our lower time frame order block with imbalance, right, to then continue that trend once that break of structure is confirmed, and we see that here. So break of structure, leaving behind M15 order block with imbalance, possible inducement here from our pullback, right, which is just some liquidity left there during a corrective pullback for us to set our order here, stop loss above the high to go shorts. I don't want to trade against this buy side liquidity if we take it, right, for longs, so I'll see how the day plans out. We have draws on price above, right, and we may take some buy side liquidity above here as well. You never know. We have an old M15 order block here that may also be rejected. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for those added confluences there. I won't just set my order on it, that's a bit out of character for me, but you can see we have that order block there from the past as well, which we're flying into now actually. So we may just see what I said. I'll wait for this breaker structure, reject this order block, buy side liquidity is taken. We may get some more SMC divergence. DXY may not go below these lows, okay, and then we get that break of structure around here on DXY as well. We may see something like this to go towards that high. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Let's move on to our next pair. All right, so it's GBPJPY. Okay, what's the daily chart showing us? We're on the daily. Closed out yesterday as a bullish candle. All right, we're continuing in our bullish direction and bullish trend. So far today, we haven't taken a previous daily high or low for some fresh buy or sell side liquidity. Okay, but buy side liquidity just above. We have taken the buy side liquidity from this high here, okay, but we closed above it, and there are obviously draws on price with these imbalances here that we may feel further up into this leg here. So I think that's clear and obvious. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Again, we have an obvious 4 hour structure which is bullish, right? Low, high, 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 low, high, high structures that have been created over the last few days, weeks and whatnot. So the way I see it, we're in this 4 hour leg here, right, that created a new high. We have some draws on price below. We're obviously going to be in a premium. Price is kind of stalling, but that's overnight price action. We may need some buy side liquidity though from today. We'll see if that happens. We have a 4 hour order block here with imbalance that price may be drawn down to into a discount, right? So I'll be looking for that move, most likely counter trend towards the discount, because I won't want to trade from this premium unless something looks very clear and obvious, maybe. But let's go down to the 1 hour, see how that looks. All right, so the 1 hour leg, very clear here, low to the highs, discount to the premium. We have a 1 hour order block within that 4 hour order block, good draw on price with imbalances below in that discount. Okay, so I do see the draw on price down here. We have taken buy side liquidity from yesterday. Price is kind of stalling at these highs. Considering it's a JPY pair, I'd expected possibly more movement overnight. It's been fairly corrective so far. Okay, we haven't taken any obvious buy side liquidity that I see, so the M15 may show some more. But again, for me, I'm thinking counter trend, draw on price below. I just need to see some buy side liquidity and a breakdown, right? That's clear and obvious that we're going to head towards this discount. All right, so we're stalling up here like a resistance, okay, and we may head towards a discount. So let's go down to the M15 and draw that out. So as we can see so far here on EM15, right, there's a lot of just corrective jaggedy price action here, but if we read the structure, okay, which is what I want to do, you can see we had our New York high around here, and then coming into the late evening, right, we've taken the buy side liquidity. It hasn't sent us anywhere, but I just want to acknowledge the buy side liquidity, and then we eventually made that lower low. So if you look below these lows, right, where we was making the high highs, high lows, high highs, we then went on to make a lower low below these lows here. So from this high to this low, then we made a lower high again up here, and then a lower low, right? And then now we've made a slight lower high already here. You could say we've taken some internal liquidity now above all of these little highs here on the M15, which is nice, but we're still waiting for that breakdown. Okay, so I think this looks good in terms of the structural direction is making sense on the M15 now to possibly head lower towards this area. We're getting some momentum. We'll see what that does. Now, what am I waiting for? I may not use the M15, I may use the M5, but let's say this is the structure. I want to see us break below the low, right? Clear below the low, break a structure, pull back to M15 order block, right? With hopefully the imbalance here to show that momentum for us to trade lower towards our discount POY here. Let's just pretend for the moment, let's say this gets left behind as an order block. We have our break of structure here. We had our internal buy side liquidity sweep. We're in a premium and we pull back, maybe corrective, leaving some inducement here. Set our order to go short, stop loss just above the highs here. So that's what I see, what I'll be looking for. So let's move on. So last pair will be AU. We're here on the daily. What's the daily showing? Well, so far today we've clearly taken previous daily low sell side liquidity and we're bullish at the moment. Right, we're obviously in our bearish trend still, but bullish this morning with that liquidity. So a possible lower time frame pullback there going on, sponsored by this. We're bearish right now, again now on DXY, right? We switched from our bullish opening to bearish. So it makes sense that AU is also moving bullish. So I think let's go down to the 4 hour. There's not many POYs here for me to be concerned with. Then we can see what that looks like. Right, so on AU on the 4 hour, of course we haven't switched structure yet. We're very bearish still. However now, since we've taken this previous daily low, you can see we've got this massive 4 hour bullish engulfing happening. Still 50 minutes left on this candle, but there's a lot of momentum coming in to AU at the moment. Right, we don't have any clear POYs here, but there is buy side liquidity internally that may shift price back to going bearish if that's where it wants to go. Now the next clear POY is up here. Right, so we have this 4 hour order block with imbalance up there that we may head towards as a drawn price, as resistance, and this will be our next POY that we need to watch out for, and it just happens to be above the previous daily high buy side liquidity as well. So we'll see how bearish DXY is going to go today and if AU makes its way up here. I think we should move on to the 1 hour now. So on the hourly, structure is still bearish as well, right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price now has the momentum. We can see a lot of bullish momentum because we have a very bearish US dollar happening at this moment. So it'll be interesting to see if we find any support at all. But at the moment we have this 1 hour order block POY, right, and the buy side liquidity above it for AU to go through to give us any sign of a bullish switch and trend change. At the moment the trend's still bearish, right? We're about to take that buy side liquidity, okay, because DXY is falling hard. So let's go down to the M15 as well, because I think everything's clear here, the structure's clear. This is our POY. We're waiting to see if this holds or if the buy side liquidity sends us lower. So at the moment I wouldn't say there's a lot to do, simply because of what DXY is doing and how aggressive this has become. Right, we've just taken the buy side liquidity above here. We'll see if price stops there or not and respects this zone. As I said, at the moment it's still bearish. So what would I want to see if I was to take some sort of short to continue that bearish trend? AU needs to create some structure here now, in my opinion, right? And then we break below that structure. So we need to see a clear breaker structure on this M15, pull back to the order block with imbalance left behind to then continue that short. That's the only way I can see it happening. We've taken buy side liquidity now. Of course we could create a structure here and do that again and then break down. It doesn't really matter either way, as long as we get a good strong break of structure okay, because we already have the buy side liquidity, and we come back, pull back to our lower time frame order block with imbalance to then trade with the trend again towards these lows, right? I'll aim for 3%, but towards these lows here. So it looks something like this, again with possible inducement from a corrective pullback. So that's what I would wait for. If we do switch bullish, then I'll just let price do its thing. So that's everything for today. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.